10 to 2.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to a special edition of the Talking to the Dog Benfica Podcast. My name is Alfredo, and we got a packed house tonight. But let me just introduce the usuals next to me.
You got the Tintarin bus full today.
Cristiano Oliveira.
Hola.
And Mr. Steve Santos.
Hola.
All right. And the rest of the guys I'm going to introduce one by one. And I'm going to go from left to right on my screen. The first one, Mr. Timo.
Usual suspects.
Timo, what's going on, Timo?
Last time sério.
Timo's done it.
This guy's got Steve internet.
Timo just plugged into Steve's internet.
Which has gone down once already today. Let's point that out.
All right, we'll skip
Great
over
stuff.
Timo. Maybe he's on a delay. Maybe in 5 minutes he's here.
I think he's just holding still, looking at us like.
Timo, you there, Timo?
Não, tá sério. Olha pra foto.
Okay. Next one, next to Timo, Jack. Jack is in the UK. What's going on, buddy?
What's going on? It's a pleasure to be here.
Jack Yowanka, what's going on, buddy? Mate. No, you gotta say mate, not buddy. Mate.
I think
Mate,
Jack
yeah.
adds some validity to this podcast.
Yeah, because he's got the bring it back.
That's right.
It is.
Right.
The accent immediately adds on 15 IQ points.
There it is.
Jack, what do you do in the UK, buddy?
I'm studying history at university.
There we go.
Hopefully it's not English soccer history. Hopefully it's something that's entertaining.
Whoa.
That'd be a quite short course if it was English soccer.
1966, we robbed Portugal, we won the World Cup, and the story.
Whoa.
Jack, what is? I know you're British. Any connection? Any background? Portuguese background?
Not so much, more by choice, I'd say. Benfica wise.
By choice.
It's awesome.
When did you start following the club?
I'd say the later stages of 2012-13 or mid after Christmas period. Say the 3-1 with Sporting, where Cardozo got a hat trick. That was one of the first games I'd watched.
Oh, that's pretty recent.
It was
Yeah,
quite
that's
recent, yeah.
Yeah, but you know we got to give the guy credit. For a dude that just got into the club now, he's got the proper apparel behind. He's got Eusebio. He knows, the guy's been pretty well informed. Look at that.
You're also a Liverpool fan.
Oh, sorry
Yeah.
to hear that. But naturally, Benfiquistas and Liverpool fans and vice versa, because Liverpool up until 1990, they most powerful team in England, and after that,
Watch your mouth, mate.
Anyway, Jack, welcome, buddy. Next up, we got from Toronto, Mr. Steve Santos. Oh wait.
Oh, I think we know each other.
Peter, we're all over. We're spanning the globe. Peter's in Portugal.
Yeah,
Peter, what's going on, buddy?
it's another podcast.
Another night, another podcast. There we go.
That's right.
Peter, where are you in Portugal?
In Gaia, near Porto.
Oh, that's nice over there. It's a good place to
nice.
have sex.
yep, guys.
And what time is it there now? I think Cristiano already. I think it's close to 2 o'clock. Right?
Yeah,
2 a.m.
1 a.m. 1 a.m.
Yeah, 1.
Did the hour change yet? Did the hour
Yeah,
change?
it just changes.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's close to 2 a.m. 2 a.m. So you can tell Pedro doesn't work, guys. For those of you listening, the guy's up at 2 o'clock. He doesn't have to do tomorrow.
Pedro, what do you do for a living, bro?
Still studying.
Pedro, can I get your bank
you
account
study?
number?
No, he studies.
Oh, I study too.
He studies. And Nelson Lucindo. What's going on, Nelson?
Yeah, what's up, guys? How y'all doing tonight?
Good.
My name's okay.
Guys, don't all be afraid to answer.
No, it's okay. I'll go ahead. My name's Nelson. I live in Tampa, Florida. I've been a Benfica since I was a little Nelson, and it's a pleasure to be on here.
Welcome, Nelson.
Thank you, Neil. Thank you.
I feel like we're in a AAA meeting, AAA meeting. What is it called? What's it called?
AAU. Dois anos.
AA meeting.
Benfiquistas Anonymous.
No, but that's not to be embarrassed about. That's not to be embarrassed about. I mean, Nelson just keeps chugging the beer away. I see that from here.
Well,
Good job, Nelson.
Thank you. You got to get lubed up before you start.
That's
Lubed
right.
up, yes, baby.
And next up is Mr. Neil Fernandez. Neil, what's going on, brother?
Hey guys, always a pleasure. Thanks for having me back on.
Neil's in Toronto. Neil's an old favorite, I guess.
I'm surprised Neil and our boy Steve Zinho are not doing this together. I mean, I figure those two right now will be sharing a Super Walk and
sitting on each other's lap.
Exactly, yeah, sharing Steven's freaking internet right now.
I invited Steve to my house once, but I think he's scared of me.
I don't blame
Absolutely.
him.
Hey, quem fala a verdade não merece castigo, right? Is that how it goes?
Exatamente.
And Mario Mota,
Another one in Canada.
M. Dot, what's going on, buddy?
Not much. Been a long time since I've been on here. Happy to be back on. Just down the road from Steve and Neil up in the Tri-City area, Cambridge, Kitchener-Waterloo area.
Good, and we're happy to. Please, the thanks go out to your wife. She's letting you do this by yourself. I know the podcast viewing is something they usually do together.
We still got 55 viewers with 10 people online. I mean, they're doing pretty well tonight.
As a couple, so we appreciate that Cynthia has allowed you to hide into a little
Thank
room
you, Cynthia.
and do this by
You're
yourself.
the best. Yes, sweetheart. By the way, Nelson. Mario, not to cut you off, Mario. But Timo's back. So, Timo didn't get an opportunity to say hello to the people. Timo. No, mas Timo, we got to go reverse. We got to get back to Timo before we forget him. Timo, let us know where you're from, your height, your size, how much you weigh, what's going on, how long you been a Benfica fan, how you keep that fat, fresh-ass beard going. I mean, let everybody know the secret.
The beard just grows on its own. This is about 2 weeks worth right here. I'm from Massachusetts. I've followed Benfica my whole life, thanks to my father, rather than my uncles who are all Sportingistas.
Nice.
Yes, exactly. It could be worse. My sogros, they are Portistas. So it's
Ooh.
I know.
Mine are too, so
But
don't feel
at
bad.
least
Mine are too.
Yes, at least my wife was smart, and she followed her grandfather, who was a Benfica. God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
Yes.
Timo was up. You said you were in New England, right?
No,
Yes, I'm in New England. I'm in Massachusetts.
Oh. And the last one, we had more people here, but they've skipped out or they've been booted off. And last but not least, Mr. Kevin Carvalho. What's going on, bro?
Hey guys, thanks for having me on the podcast.
No problem, man. Hey, Kevin, we knew. I heard you had a little bit of the jitters. You were a little bit nervous. Nothing to be nervous about.
Look at this.
Call him out.
Look at how he looks, and he does this. He does this like with no sweat, man. Nothing to it, man. It's all
because I'm surrounded by a bunch of campeões, man. I mean, how could you be nervous surrounded by? I got Steven Pretty Boy Chalkboard. I mean, the guy's got 50,000 nicknames. You, Capitão. My job is to come here and talk shit. Keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Who's pouring the drinks over there?
Yeah, who's the Jesus?
Sorry, guys, I'm loud. I'm gonna work tomorrow, so it's gonna be sloppy.
All right. So, what are we gonna talk about? No, obviously no game, as you guys all know.
Really?
So
I thought there was a game this week.
We've invited everyone here tonight just to. This is actually a first. It's the first time we've ever had this many people on the podcast with us live. So we're trying to keep it somewhat organized and orderly. I know Lucinda wanted to talk about the national team. I have no desire to talk about national team.
Especially after today's performance.
Nor have I watched the game. I didn't even know they played today.
They lost. They
lost to Cape Verde.
They made history today.
Let's relax.
Did you really go on Twitter and say that the chorizo I gave you was burnt?
It was burnt.
Malagrecido, caralho. I just noticed that. A little burnt. A próxima vez comes merda.
I told you. It was burnt.
Don't say it in a public format.
But it's good like that. It's good a little bit burnt.
It is. Steve, no, it is.
Malagrecido, right?
Yeah.
Yo, you gotta get the stornicadinho, right? You know,
it is, because as a kid, as a kid,
it has a little extra flavor.
It is. As a kid, you always eat it burnt a little bit. So as you grow up and as you go older, you have to have it a little bit burnt.
Hey, dude, you only eat it burnt.
Just because your parents give you
You only need it burnt when you were kids because your mom was busy doing everything else around the house. No, she was cleaning. She was washing. She was ironing clothes. She was making clothes out in the backyard. And the chorizo just got burned, man.
That's it, man.
Anyway, Nelson, you want to talk about the national team just to get it out of the way? I don't know who else wants to add.
That's not burnt, yo. That's burnt. That's not burnt, right, Nelson?
Well, I mean, that's a little grainy, but I mean, it looks all right. I mean, I'd eat it. I mean, I've eaten worse. Yeah,
Nelson,
I mean,
we'll talk about the national team now.
Yeah, we'll talk about the national team real quick. So I don't really remember who we lined up, but I saw a lot of people talking shit about Eliseu. He's terrible on a national team level. He's good enough for Portugal, but I mean, But I mean, he's all right. He's an all right guy. You know, I thought it was very interesting when Fernando Santos called up 3 left backs, right? So initially, I thought that we'd play like in the 4-4-2, where we've seen Ronaldo play at Madrid in that kind of center forward, out left, drifting back in type of role on the counterattack. And you know, Fabio, he's comfortable playing on the wing. He played at the wing when he was at Passos Freire. And only he was kind of quote unquote. That's what I said. No, that's what I said. And then you know, JJ kind of converted him to left back or whatever he converted him to. But it's interesting because he's got quality skills. So he's not one of those just like run up and down type left backs. He's not a great defender. He's a better attacker. So to put him on the wing, he naturally feels more comfortable there. And it seemed he was doing all right, interchanging with whoever was on that left side with Moutinho, Thiago. Also, one thing I want to say about Thiago is just for his age, and I realize that the speed isn't there anymore, his positioning is absolutely fantastic. There were so many times he put himself in the right spot just to cut a ball off or to make the right outlet pass. The guy's just a consummate professional. I'm floored by his performances at his age. I think he's 33 years old to be playing at that level. Moutinho, you know, the guy's always class. And overall, it was a good performance. When we look at Serbia on the other side, you know, I think we see a lot of individual talent there. We see the Matic, you see Kolarov, Duricic, Markovic, and that real young kid for Anderlecht, Mitrovic. We see him up front, and you know, for as good as Mitrovic is, I've seen a little bit of him, mainly because I've seen Benfica recently link with him in some of the papers. He had no service. He was up by himself on an island practically the entire game. You know, he didn't even get a sniff of the ball, and to isolate a guy who's young, yes. So he should have dropped off a little bit, but he didn't. To isolate a guy like that shows, you know, the defense is good and the midfield trio were doing their jobs. You know, we look at guys who maybe could have made a difference a little more. I would have liked to seen maybe Pizzi in that role, sub out late, but you know, we went up to 2-0. William Carvalho, which is interesting, who I thought he would actually start in the midfield. I never thought we'd put Dani up there because I thought that experiment just went, to hell in a handbasket the first time around, playing him in that whatever false 9, floating 10 garbage that was. That was a cluster in and of itself. But I mean, like going back to Serbia, we see that they're more an individual talent group.
Opa, the sad reality, Nelson, I saw that I posted this on Twitter earlier today, which is that the Portuguese national team, with the exception of a handful of guys here and there, man, it's a bunch of tristes. And we saw it today, a team that you know was put together last minute, but still quality players that play throughout some of the best teams in Portugal and other guys that play throughout Europe. And all of a sudden they go up against Cape Verde, a bunch of cooks and a bunch of, you know, guys that what do you call the dudes that
dishwashers?
Yeah,
come on,
butcher. I was trying to look up the word in Portuguese. And all of a sudden, we look like crap. I mean, come on, bro. This team leaves a lot to be desired. We got lucky that we were playing Serbia. We took the early, you know, the 1-0 lead, and all of a sudden, it's like we fell asleep. And then they came back. Beautiful goal by Matic, but not taking anything away from what Serbia was doing. But this Portuguese national team.
That was the highlight for me. Was that goal by Matic?
Bro, it's terrible.
But Chris.
But go follow.
But aren't those guys? Those guys, they never really get a chance to play together, right? So I mean, this B team for Portugal, they're still professionals, but you have no chemistry. You don't know where the guy's going to be. I mean, you hear JJ talking about with Jonas, Lima, Salvio, and Gaetan. They know where everybody is on the field at all time. That's why they're so productive. You know,
totally different. You mentioned a bunch of guys that aren't Portuguese, man. And I'm sorry that I have to say this. Some of you guys might get a little bit upset with me, but it's just the way I think. There's a lot of times these guys go onto the field, right? Because I've had that same attitude at times. And it's like, you feel like, oh, man, my time, man, it's so bon mais, man. I don't have to go. In Cape Verde today, player for player, I don't give a shit if they played together for 6 months or they just got together last night. Player for player, they don't belong on the same field, even with this sad-ass Portuguese squad. And the fact that they went out, they wanted it more than what the Portuguese players did. And that's the problem with Portugal. Portugal, over the years, when you go roster-wise, 1 through 23, they might have one of the best teams in Europe, but the players don't play like they want it. Everyone's way too comfortable when they step on the field, bro. And that's the problem that's the biggest problem I have with this team. Because these guys step onto the field and they don't want it.
Going to Neil.
Chris, can I jump in? Two quick things. First thing. By the time this team qualifies to the Euro, half those guys are going to be retired. They're going to be gone. Carvalho, you might as well make that guy the striker. Because that goal was incredible. Perfect goal.
Cool.
The question I have, what do you guys think? I don't understand why Fernando Santos is getting punished for something that happened when he was under Greece, when now he's representing Portugal. Why?
But he has to. He has to be held accountable.
Yeah.
He has to be held accountable.
With the Portuguese national team, that has to do with this. Greece should get fined, not Portugal.
Neil, then Portugal should have been smarter than that and not hired him.
Right. They knew that coming in.
Everyone knew that whatever team he signed for, he was going to have to serve a suspension. Simple as that. He can't just be like, okay, you signed with a new team, a new nation. Okay, the punishment is no. He has to serve his punishment. Now Portugal knew that.
We're going to go to Peter first. Let's keep it orderly, guys. Let's not all talk about just raise your hand and I'll call on you. Peter.
I agree with Chris. The team just feels like they don't want anything. They don't want to play. Cape Verde, it's just unbelievable. It's boring as hell. They don't feel like they are just like there. It's just a game to them. It's just like a walk in a park. Whenever Pizzi and Andre came in, it was a whole different game. Those were only two players that added the level of the competition that the game needed. They were the ones who errors, they were the ones who caught balls, they were the ones who try and make. It was just unbelievable. This team has skills. They just don't want to play. They just want to do it.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot to do with the fact that he called an alternative team to play against his Cape Verde and not the main team. I think that sends a message to the guys that are going to play.
That's even worse.
It's not even that important.
That's even worse. You know you're going to get your one chance. What do you want to do? You want to impress. And the players did the opposite. It's even more embarrassing.
They know they're not going to be the main guys.
That's the wrong guy. That's the problem. That's the wrong attitude.
Well, that's the attitude that they have. What do you expect, Pid?
It's just wrong. Bernardo Silva was one that was a brilliant player. The rest looked like they were playing like they already earned their spot, and most of them didn't. You saw Adrian Silva, the one that responds to the international team, and Cedric, another one. Just unbelievable. There were a few guys where you could see like they wanted that game. Even Eder, to some extent, tried to play well, but he's just not good enough. He tried. He's just not good enough. I thought we were going to see maybe push one, even Lucas wrong, but no, he was back to the 4-3-3. We had the 4-4-2 last game, and even we went back to 4-3-3, just same team. Everything was the same. It's unbelievable. I expected something different, something new from Portugal, and it was just the same, exactly the same thing.
Today, Fernando Santos took out a Manco to put in a Koshu in there. I mean, it was terrible, dude. Terrible. I mean, that guy, I don't even know how both guys are even getting a call up to the national team. Both of these guys do not deserve to be on this national team. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Neil.
We've spent enough time talking about the national team. Can we talk about Benfica, please?
Nelson, since you started this argument, I'll let you finish it. Or actually, I let Kevin have a crack at it, Timo also.
All right, fala. Kevin, get this.
Real quickly,
Nelson.
Just to finish, I mean, this is really supposed to be an alternative squad, right? So we've already seen what Eder and Hugo Almeida can't do. They're garbage, right? They're posts standing. I mean, I call Hugo Almeida Arvore because that's all he does. He just stands there, planted to the ground, and doesn't really produce anything. And when he is in front of goal, he can't finish. The guy cannot. He couldn't finish his dinner if it was in front of him. So
a man could have scored a whorehouse with a stack of 100.
With 2 pocketful of 100 bills, man. But I mean, then we call guys like Rui Font up, and then we call guys like Lucas João, who I think is a great center forward from Nacional. And those are guys that should be in the game, right? They should be the ones that are playing this game to get an eyeball, to get a look at, and they get zero time.
Bro, for those of you that are defending what Portugal did today, just keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. This is the 12th time that Portugal has played an African nation. And this is the first time that Portugal's ever lost to an African nation. And on top of it, we're not talking about Ivory Coast or Cameroon or Nigeria. We're talking about freaking Cape Verde with 500,000 chops. Put them over those, man. I don't care if it was the equipo principal. I don't care who it was. I mean, half of these guys aren't even professional players.
Stop it, they are.
That's the problem.
Some of them they play in.
You don't give a shit. Okay.
Kevin, I'll let you have the last word before we move on to real important things.
Right. So, like today's squad, Fernando Santos had to put the different players because apparently there's a rule that
they can't play within 2 days. Yes.
Exactly. That's why you have these Eders or Hugo Almeidas playing today instead of other good players.
Yeah.
But you justify their poor performance due to the fact that just because they can't play 2 games within 3 days, I don't give a shit if they played yesterday. We're talking about guys that have played at the highest of level throughout Europe, okay? And all of a sudden they're playing against a bunch of scrubs, a team that doesn't have the same caliber of talent, the same skill level, and the same experience that this Portuguese team had, even though it's a very young and a team with not a lot of international experience. But that being said, Portugal should have still wiped them away.
Olha o Chalkboard quer falar. Chalkboard.
Change the chip, bro. Change the chip. That's enough Portuguese national team. We're boycotting it. Done.
Mario, wait. We gotta let everybody talk. Mario, a couple words about
I'll just say a couple quick words, not to drag this on too long. The good that came out of this today, the good thing that did come out of today is you got a lot of these guys in the Portuguese league and other Portuguese players that say they never get a call-up. They got a call-up today and then show up.
Yeah.
A lot of guys have complained saying it's always the same cast that gets called up all the time. And, next time when you get a call-up, show up.
Yeah, and _Gomes89_ says that this was also a game, a solidarity game for the victims of the Ilha do Fogo.
Tem nem sei o que isso quer dizer, mas listen. Good job.
Don't read the news.
Listen, all I know is that one good thing about this is that this gives people like myself.
Chris, you called it. You said you were the only one who was going to talk today.
No, but better. I want to get this point out and then I'll be quiet. Hold on. A lot of these people that want to criticize Benfica on it, because this gets back to Benfica, because you guys want to talk about Benfica, okay? So when you guys, some of you, because there are some of you on this chat right now that have expressed this same feeling, at least to myself on Twitter or on some of the conversations that I've noticed you guys talking about, which is the fact that Benfica doesn't carry enough Portuguese players, okay? And like I've always said, with the exception of the very top Portuguese players, I don't really care. Benfica doesn't have an obligation to develop players because they're not a national team. Benfica has an obligation to their fans and to winning titles. So when you see the rest of the best be as shitty as they were today, it kind of gives people like myself some more ammunition. I don't give a shit what nationality these guys are. As long as they score and as long as they defend and as long as they play the best football available for my Benfica, I don't care about their nationality. And today, proved me right.
We're going to go to Jack, you want to add anything about the Portuguese national team? From a British standpoint?
British-wise, I don't know. I think you're quite comparable to us in the sense that when you were going on about how the players don't really want it, that's been the case with England for God knows how long.
Yeah.
But you've got Harry Kane.
The problem with England is not even that the players don't want it, because you do have very good players, but the problem is that a lot of these guys on this English national team, okay, that you expect tons from, they're not the guys that on their club team are the guys that you expect. The fact is that the foreigners in your league have really taken away from the English player. And that's the biggest problem with the English national team, is that these players, instead of developing, they're losing these spots like Barkley and young guy Kane's going to play because he's at Tottenham until one of the big sharks comes and picks him up. But these guys don't get the opportunity to develop because they don't become key cogs on their team because of the foreigners that come from abroad. That's the problem with England.
You know why that is? Because they get too much money from TV rights. And instead of setting to develop their own players, they can just say, you know what, we're going to spend X amount of dollars to develop this guy. Nah, forget it. We're just going to go out and get Oscar, who's already ready. We're going to spend $50 million and get Mangala, who's a piece of garbage. We'll go get all these guys for a ton of money.
Nelson, has to do with what I said about Benfica. They're about winning titles, not developing teams. Chelsea doesn't have an obligation to develop players. You know what? Jose Mourinho doesn't give a shit if he develops a 17 or 18-year-old to go on to do great things in England. He cares about the kid he develops to win titles at Chelsea, or else he gets fired. Same thing with Pellegrini. Same thing with Van Gaal. Same thing with Pochettino. Same thing. That's what it's about.
No. I'll tell you what. This wonderful guy by the name of Nelson Lucindo, he just wrote a great piece for Benfica Podcast on what it actually costs to develop a player and how that money is invested wisely and sometimes it's not. I suggest everybody read it.
Thanks, Nelson. It's a great article.
Thank you very much.
Very good.
We're gonna let the beard have the last say on the national team, and then we'll move on. So everybody gets a crack at least.
All right. The only thing I'm gonna say is Chris needs to shut up.
He said my internet sucks and Chris needs to shut up.
Yeah. Where's the delete button?
Where's All right. Let's. Go ahead, Timo.
I mean, I hope that's not all he had to say.
No. When it comes to the national team, the one thing that really annoys me is, yes, we have a lot of these, so-called great players. Really, it looks like everybody knows how to defend Portugal. It's take Cristiano Ronaldo out, and what else do you have? You have nobody else. Nobody else that can do anything. I mean, Hugo Almeida, you could give him the perfect cross, and all he has to do is maybe jump 4 inches off the ground to get his head on it, and he still always gets underneath the ball somehow. The guy can't jump. He's 6'3", and he can't get off his feet. None of these players belong on that team. He does not belong there.
That happened today a couple times, by the way.
It did, and I'm short, and I could probably jump higher than he can.
That's because you're a goalie. You got big calves.
It's true. Very true.
You got the calves that what's that guy from Entourage? Johnny what? Johnny Drama. Johnny Drama would envy your calves, Timo. I'm serious.
I don't want to talk about calves. I'm still getting over my calf tear in Portugal.
All right. Nelson, you want to do your thing now, and so we could split this up with the national team and the Portuguese talk, or you want to have a few more minutes to rehearse?
No, that's we can go live now. That's fine.
Legal song.
Seedlings.
All right, ready?
Oh. Ready.
The halftime headlines. And now, the halftime headlines.
Esta equipa em 5 anos fizemos 9 finais. Ganhámos tudo o que havia. Esta equipa já ganhou em Portugal tudo o que havia para ganhar. Eu com eles, não há mais nada para ganhar. Ganhámos tudo. Há mais títulos para este ano. Continua a haver objetivos.
Over the past 2 days, Portugal played 2 international games, 1 competitive qualifying match, and a friendly. Benfica's Eliseu played the first 45 minutes. He chowned down half a frango assado at the interval and then finished the second half. André Almeida got 15 minutes and Pizzi the last 30. Nas modalidades, Benfica's volleyball team went to Italy and played Ravenna. They beat the Italians in 5 sets to move on to the Taça Challenge final. It's a 2-legged final held on April 8th and April 12th against Bojdina. Good luck to them as we grab more silverware on another front. And former and longtime Benfica futsaler Ricardinho was elected for the second time in his illustrious career the best futsaler in the world. Umagia, playing in Spain at Inter Movistar, has previously won this title in 2010. Congrats to the Ricardinho, and that's all for this week.
Futsal.
I gotta be honest. That start of that intro, man. I didn't know whether I should go get the lube and the tissues or what.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I gotta give a shout out to the very nice young lady who did that for me. Her name is Francesca something or other.
What she got you? What she get you? The lube or the tissues? What are you shouting her off for?
She was the one that said.
I thought you said the loop thing. I gotta shut her up. My bad.
It's Francesca Guancia. She's a professional voiceover, and I had the pleasure of knowing her, and she did that for me. So thank you, Francesca.
She on Twitter?
I don't think so.
Oi, Francesca, che cazzo? Tu parli italiano? Oh no, sorry.
No, I don't think so.
She on Twitter, Nelson? We could give out her Twitter name. I think everybody with a sexy voice like that, I think people will want to follow.
If she has Twitter, I don't know it. I'll try and find out.
All right, very good. So let's turn our attention to Benfica now. Final third of the season, if I'm not mistaken, we're already entered the final third. Who knows how many games are left?
We're going into match day 27.
Match day 27. So you got another 7 games maybe?
8 games.
Yeah, 7. I think 7.
Yeah. Neil, let's start with you. Expectations for the final stretch of the season, especially the games precluding the Porto game.
Expectations is, like Steve mentioned last week, we can't afford to lose any more points from now until the end of the season. Just to touch up on Porto, we beat them once already on the road. We should beat them at home. My biggest concern is going into the luge, losing unnecessary points, and it's tied, and Porto, the only way they're going to beat us is funny business, is shady referees, is calling back favors from a few years ago. That's my biggest concern. But on paper right now...
Neil, let's not forget.
We're going to smash Porto. We're going to smash all of these teams. We're going to be...
Calming,
Neil.
We lose 1-0, we'll still have the tiebreaker, Neil. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, 2-0, we're back leaving, we're back even. But
what
if
are you talking about tiebreaker? We're 3 points ahead.
If you happen to lose that game by 1-0, you're still ahead of Porto because the first tiebreaker is head-to-head.
Right now, technically, we're up by 4 points technically if you go by the numbers.
But that's assuming.
But we still have important games. What do we got? We got Nacional next.
So we have Nacional at home, Académica at home. Then we go to Belém for Belenenses. Then we have Porto at home. Gil Vicente is away. Then we have Penafiel at home. Then we're going to Guimarães. And then last game is at home against Marítimo. So out of the last 8 games, we have 5 at the luge.
Yeah, which could also be kind of a misleading, secure feeling, if you want to call it.
Yes.
Because you're thinking you have all these games at the luge, and I already read a lot of people that, if we win all the games at the luge, we'll be champions. Yes, of course, one of those games includes Porto, but you win all the games at the luge, and you lose the rest of the games away, and you tie them, you're going to be in trouble. Mario, Lopetegui has come out and said that their loss to Benfica at the Dragão was their best performance of the season. What do you make of that?
Oh, that's pretty sad in my book. If that's what they're going on, and they're pretty excited, let's see if we beat them 4-0 and give him the best performance he has now. I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest, about the remainder of the season. We just take it game by game, and we just go from there.
Yeah. And Kevin, I know you were at the luge recently. How far back were you at the luge? Kevin.
Sorry, I was at luge in early December.
What games did you get to catch?
The game against Belenenses, and then the following last game of the Champions League against Bayern Leverkusen.
Yeah, how was that for you?
It was pretty wicked. Never seen that stadium. I've been to the old stadium in '92, but being at an actual Benfica game that actually counted for points, that was pretty wicked. I really loved that experience.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, Cristiano and I loved it too.
Wicked, eh?
It was good. It was good.
It was wicked hardcore.
Park my car in the parking spot.
All right. Nelson, what do you think? They still haven't decided what the League Cup final is going to be. I think, when does Porto play Marítimo?
I heard it's going to be the 29th. Final. I heard it's going to be. Timo sent me an email about a possible trip to catch that game, and I reached out to the travel agency, and the dude's convinced that it's the 29th. So.
What do they know, dude?
I mean, the guy's a traveling agency.
They don't know yet. The guy wants to sell you a ticket. That's what he wants to do.
Guys, that's the game for the Campeonato. Yes, that's the Clásico. And
the Clásico is with the 29th.
Well,
right now it's on the books for like
that's
the
according
6th or whatever.
The SLB website. The SLB website is the only place that it mentions the 29th. I have a cousin who actually knows a few people out there, and he spoke with somebody that works for Benfica, and they stated it still has not been confirmed. So even they don't know when this game is going to happen. I'm hoping it's on the Sunday, which is the 26th, so I can go out there. If it's on the 29th, that'll suck.
Hey, Timo, you're like a big deal.
No, I'm really not. I'm really not.
I gotta make friends in Massachusetts.
I just want to make friends with your cousin, yeah.
Me too.
He's a husband, bro.
Peraí. I know that Pedro's in Portugal. Pedro, what's the latest on this game? Have you heard anything? Any developments? What's going to be played first? The Liga Cup final or the game for the championship?
They're saying that it's the League Cup, but honestly, there's nothing on it. Oh. But my guess is that the championship game goes first.
Yeah.
That's going to be my opinion.
Yeah. Nelson.
I'm checking Abola right now, and even Abola is saying the 29th for the Clásico. So they've recently updated it because it was not such. Maybe
and the Liga Cup final is what, the 24th or the 25th?
25th.
They don't have that on.
The 29th falls on a what?
Wednesday.
29th is a Wednesday.
Yeah, that's what I originally had heard, that they were going to move that game to Wednesday. Pedro, is that what you're hearing too over there in Portugal?
Well, we just didn't hear anything new. It just was that whenever Benfica played their game against Setúbal, they just said it was going to be on the 25th of April, but then just nothing new about it. Just the 25th.
Yeah.
Jack, let me ask you a question, Jack. You're out there in England. Now I want to hear your opinion on this because Steve and I got into a pretty heated argument about this last time. So you got the Taça game and you have the Campeonato game back-to-back, the championship game, the league game back-to-back. Do you field your first team, or do you, if you have the final, the beer cup final the week before, do you field the secondary team, or do you come out with your strongest squad?
I'd say, hopefully, to field the strongest team in both, personally, but that comes with time, with the squad developing. I'd say it's at the point now that I would hope to do that. Considering in England, here we can have 3 games in 10 days, and with Liverpool just gone in March, it was like that, and we pretty much played as strong as we could each game. It just comes with the squad that you have to develop itself. I'd say in that situation you should try for both, but if there's a preference, then you do it on the league game over the Taça.
Yeah, we're gonna circle this question around. Mary, I'll let you go next. So if the League Cup comes before the Champions game, the championship game, which is right now, that's what it's looking like. What do? Strongest team on both, or what?
You go with the strongest team on both, and here's why. You have Porto, which has a semi-final to still get to this match. Then they have the Champions League 2 legs. Then they also got this cup before our Clásico. We give them everything we got on that game. We got less games than they do to play. They will be gassed out by the time they show up at our stadium for that match in the Liga. If we go that match by beating them in their stadium, then winning the League Cup over them, their motivation is going to be at all-time low. They're going to be on tired legs, and we just fucking give it to them.
Yep.
Yeah. Kevin?
I would go with the best squad as much as possible for both games. Just like Camaro said, they're playing a lot more games, so we might as well try and get beat them as best as possible with the best squad, bearing that nobody gets hurt or like a red card or anything like that.
Neil?
If it's to jeopardize the Campeonato, I would rest certain players for that Taça de Liga game, and here's why. Porto stinks. They're on the downfall. They're gonna start losing every year. If they win a Taça de Cerveja, we let them win a Taça de Cerveja. Here's a gift to you. See you later. As long as we win the title, who cares? If we don't win the Taça de Liga, a cup, that's okay. As long as we win the league, that's all I care about.
Gotta win everything.
Nelson.
I think, not to beat a dead horse, but like we're saying, Porto plays significantly more games than we do. And if you look at their squad past their 11, they're really, really thin. I mean, when they were hurting with Casemiro out, when Danilo was out, they played Ricardo Pereira, who's a B team right winger. They moved him to right back. They're so thin, and they know that after their initial 11 or 12 guys, they really only have one guy. I mean, Oliver Torres, they can pull off the bench that makes a difference. So
I don't agree with you, man. They got Ruben Neves, they can pull off the bench.
No, Ruben Neves, he's still a very green guy.
Abubakar, they got that other center defender.
No,
he's not coming off the bench now because Jackson is hurt. But when Jackson is healthy, Abubakar's coming off the bench.
No.
What do you mean? No.
They're weak on the fullbacks. I'll give you that, Nelson. But everywhere else, they've got quality options.
I think they're much deeper than us, man.
No, I don't think so. But I mean, just to finish that idea, that I think with them playing significantly more games, and they're just going to be gassed out by that point, and they're going to now. It'll be interesting to see if the Taça game does come first, and that does happen first. What will Porto do? Will Porto go out and field a weaker team, saying that we want to put all our eggs in our basket? I mean, we're talking about what we're going to do, but what's the possibility of Porto doing? Is there a possibility of Porto saying, you know what, we're not even really trying? And that's all pending that they beat Nacional, right? They still have to beat Nacional to make it. That's what I said.
I think that by the time the Taça de Liga comes around, I think that the Champions League matchup against Bayern Munich will be up already. So I think that'll be whether they advance or not. That'll be out of the way.
That'll be very interesting.
It won't be out of the way if they advance. It won't be out of the way. It'll be other games that they have to prepare for. But
it's already out of the way. They're not going to score a goal.
It really depends. That's understandable, but I think it really depends on how the first leg in that game goes. If Bayern doesn't come out and just hammer them with 4 or 5, and Bayern for some reason keeps it tight and it's only 1 or 2-0 or Porto scores a goal, they're going to go out and they're going to try and win that second leg. I find it, if they get goleada in the first leg, they're just going to toss it away.
Where's the first leg at? Anyone know? Is it at home or on the road?
Home.
I'm not. It's at home. Okay, so I mean, we've seen with Shakhtar now. Bayern Munich went out and they struggled on the road in the first game. So I mean, you might keep it close. You know what? Porto, the fans will come out and support at least for that one game. So it might be a close matchup going into Bayern Munich for the second leg. So which should be good for Benfica.
That's because they were launching like missiles like 50 feet outside the stadium in Ukraine. What are you talking about? Not in Portugal.
Portugal, they throw bifanas at you.
Timo, what do you think, Timo? Strong and strong? Strong and strong? All the way?
You go all the way. I don't want to lose any games. I don't care who it is, who it's against, what it's for. You win everything. I'm not about fielding a weaker team and maybe having some of the other players that are in the game, some of your starting 11, maybe lose confidence, with a bad result. You don't want that. You want the team to stay cohesive and, keep gelling very well and, go for it all.
Exactly. And it's Porto, guys. I said this to Steve last week.
Never lose to Porto.
They're never going to want to lose. If it's Marítimo, whatever, they'll probably feel the B team. Porto, you always want to be Porto, even if it's at freaking Berlin's or Sueca, whatever it is, you want to be Porto.
Fair enough.
Pedro.
First of all, I just want to say that I think that even if they lose to Bayern on the first leg, they're never going to field the weaker team. They're always going to play up to scratch with their main. That's what I think. With the League Cup final, I think that Benfica are going to play the same way that they did all the other matches. So a weaker team. I think that's what it's going to be. Play those fringe players, maybe. Either Cristante, give those guys a chance to play. And I think that we may have chances to win because I think that we're also do the same because with their fixture congestion, they're not going to be able to their best players all the time. So I think those teams are going to sort of play some weaker sides. I mean, Benfica with a mix of first-team players and those players that play a lot. But that is the Cup comes. If the League Cup comes after, I think there's no out that both teams will field a weaker team.
Yeah. Steve, I'll let you have the last word, dude. I know that we have already talked about this last week, but maybe you just want to freshen up your point.
Sure. If the Taça da Liga game comes before the Campeonato game, the Campeonato game at this point has a lot more weight than the Taça da Liga game does. So you do not want to, at least I don't think JJ will want to show all his cards in that match. And you also need to be able to manage your squad, not so much in terms of rotation because these guys are tired. Let's be honest. They're playing once a week. They should not be tired. There's no reason for that. It's more a matter of managing personalities,
mental,
and men. It's a mental thing. You have guys who train hard every day. I can tell you for sure, Andre Almeida trains hard every day because he wouldn't play if he didn't, and he hasn't played much. So Andre Almeida is gonna have to play a bit, and that's a type of match that he should be playing in, if you ask me. Ola John, let's leave it up in the air whether he trains hard or not, but he's on the fringes of the squad. You have to keep him involved. And for me, this is another game that he starts. There's a few guys like Pedro mentioned. If Face is fit, maybe you might even throw him in there. You gotta. It's depending where it falls on the fixture list. If it's after the Campeonato game and you've won or you've lost, and you kind of need to either stamp your authority or to maybe recoup some of the morale you may have lost if you lost against Porto, then yeah, you're gonna throw the best guys out there and you're gonna win. But if the game is before the Campeonato game, I don't think you're gonna see all 11 of our favorite 11. The Júlio César, Annette, Maxi, Luizão, Jardel.
Também. Do Jardel.
Jardel, Eliseu, Pizzi, the regular 11. You're probably not going to see all of them if the game is before the Campeonato game. That's the way I think.
Yeah. I think that it'll be a calculated risk by JJ. I think that if he doesn't have to put guys in, he doesn't. But as many of you guys have brought up, there's a bunch of factors that come into play here. You got Porto with more congestion in your fixtures. We also got to remember that the Campeonato is not over with the game against Porto, regardless of us winning or not. We also have the fact, as Steve mentioned, that let's say we go twice with our strongest 11 and we lose both games. What does that do to the psyche of the team? That's another something to take into consideration. So, I understand when Steve says maybe JJ will be trying to protect some of the morale of the team, especially with key guys.
That's dumb. I mean, come on, that's dumb. Protect morale. That's dumb. I mean, you want to go out and win. If you lose, you lose. You know what? I put out my best players, put out the fight, and we lost. It is what it is. I mean, these guys are professionals. They know what the job at hand is. Jorge Jesus has an obligation to fans like ourselves and the socios of Sport Lisboa Benfica to always feel the best team. And in particular, guys, when we're talking about Futebol Clube do Porto, we're talking about another final. I went to the beautiful Museu Cosme Damião. Okay, there's plenty of room there for more trophies. There's no reason not to feel your strongest team. And I do believe that he will field the strongest team. We're talking about Futebol Clube do Porto. If it's Marítimo, I might see it go either way. Okay, but normally, JJ is a bully. He'll go and try to step on their throats either way. That's how JJ is. But that being said, you always have to field your best team, and in particular when it's against a Futebol Clube do Porto.
All right. Well, we'll just have to see. We're still a few games away from it, at least 3 games away from it. But we'll have to see how everything plays out. I mean, you never know. You got guys that could get injured, knock on wood, but there's still a lot to be played. We still need to beat Nacional first. We need to beat Académica, and we need to beat Belenenses, most importantly, away, because I think ever since JJ took over Benfica's reins, I think we've had a very strong domestic record at home. I don't even think that we've lost many games at home since JJ took over Benfica, and maybe somebody could look up that stat, but I thought I read something that JJ's record against at home with Benfica has been exceptional.
The last home loss I remember
was against Porto
when we shut off the lights.
Yeah.
Turn on the sprinklers.
Jeff Light, turn on the sprinklers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the 3-2.
So, so we'll just have to see. We got very important fixtures, especially this one against Nacional. And we know that Nacional has been up and coming. And going against Manuel Machado, as we said last week, is always a tricky fixture. So.
And they should have beaten Porto.
Yeah, they should have beaten
Come on,
Porto.
it was harder to shoot it over.
They're coming off a very morale win
Lifting.
for
Yeah,
them.
Yeah, for that dude, it was harder to shoot it over than it was to put it on net. He shot it over. Son of a...
Yeah. We're trying to get Meg, so this wasn't such
Send her an invitation. She said she's trying to get.
I tried. I sent her a few invitations, and she's not able to.
I mean, not for nothing.
In.
You guys are all, team.
They're all nice guys,
telling
but
me to be
there's
quiet.
a lot of sausage in here.
It was six chorizo. I got no problem with chorizo. But all you guys talking about, Chris talks too much. But when I'm not talking, nobody else talks. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, speak up. Speak the truth.
They're all wait. But Meg had a question. And I guess I'll go to each one of you guys. And Meg's question was, name your best player this season so far. Kevin, let's go with you since you're all the way at the end. For you, best
player so far.
Best player so far of the season.
It's got to be Jonas for me.
Jonas.
Yes, for a guy that came on a free transfer, ton of goals so far, and. Pretty awesome pickup. For me, he's my best player.
Yeah, Mario.
No, I'll go with Salvio. Really liking what he's
Salvio?
doing. Yeah, I think that's what I've been liking.
Yeah, Neil.
Lima.
Neil
Okay, hear me out, Chris. 12 goals this season. Last season, 14 goals. The year before.
Nobody's talking about last year. We're talking about.
Okay, regardless of the years before, every year that guy's always a top goal scorer on the team.
Who cares? He missed the penalty when it was crucial.
Last
week,
he'd score 40 goals per year, man.
Okay, but those goals gotta come somewhere, and he's scoring them.
That just don't matter. But next, who's next? Who's next on the line? Love you, Neil.
Nelson.
As much as everybody thinks that my homoism is gonna gravitate me towards Jardel, it's gotta be Gaetan. The team's a completely different animal when he's on the pitch. His creativity, his ability to move and make the game fluid and just change the overall dynamic and uplift the team. I mean, you see when Ola John's playing over there. I mean, it's a different dynamic. The team almost has to suck away from him, right? Gaetan just makes everything flow well, and they're another team. He's got to be the best. He's probably the best player in the league, not just on our team.
Pedro.
Well, I could go and say Jonas, Gaetan, Salvi, Maxi, but I'm gonna go with Samaris.
Nice, good shout.
Been immense this season. He had a very rough start, but he started training, he listened to JJ, he worked hard, and now he's probably one of our best players. Yeah. He defends, he attacks, he tries to sort of play with the match, sort of tries to create opportunity sometimes when the team is not playing that well, or maybe even, for example, against Boa Vista, where he got that penalty. It wasn't a penalty, but it was a run that he just got the ball and just started running with it. I think he's got a lot of skill. I think he has a great future in him, and I think this season he's going to be even better. And probably he's going to be another one of the midfielders like we had Matic, Javi Garcia.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the next one on the list.
Yeah. Steve-O.
I gotta agree with Nelson. Without Gaetan, it's no Gaetan, no party, man. As good as Jonas has been, when Gaetan plays, it's like a completely different ball game. It's completely different. Jonas, for being a free buy, is just like it's like highway robbery if you think about it, man. He's been fantastic, but Gaetan for me is the real difference maker on the squad.
Yeah. Jack.
I was going to go with Gaetan, but I'll have to go personally actually with Maxi. Considering that his contract's up as well, the way he's been playing is still giving it his all. Just want to highlight how much he needs to be renewed to be blatantly honest.
Yeah, what is going on with Moxie's contract? Timo, you got any with that insight, that contact of yours? Any indication of when Moxie will be renewing his contract, dude?
Yeah, as soon as he gets back with J-Rod.
J-Rod.
J-Rod. J-Rod, Jonathan Rodriguez.
Yes. Now,
Timo, for you, who's been the player of the year so far?
And I'm gonna go with Nelson as well with his choice. It's got to be Gaitan because without him, Benfica was scratching for wins. So many games we struggled, and yes, Jonas has been immense and he has put many goals in and he has saved us as well. And again, Talishka at the beginning of the year, scoring out of nowhere where nobody even knew who this kid was. There have been a lot of players who have been doing well, but you could tell the difference of Benfica as soon as Gaitan came into the squad. As soon as he gets on that field, it completely changes the outlook of the game. I mean, he on his own, without even scoring, he changes the game.
Yeah. Cristiano.
Simple for me, guys. There's a best player and there's a most important player. And I think the best player so far throughout the 40-plus games, whatever Benfica's played so far this season, hands down has been Jonas. The guy's been absolutely outstanding, scoring goals left and right. But at the same time, the most important player is Gaitan. When he's on the field, I agree with all you guys that selected Gaitan. I just don't think he's been the best player. I think he's been the most important player. When the guy's on the field, it's a totally different Benfica team. But to take away from what Jonas has done, I think that's unfair. The guy's just been unbelievable for this team. He scored many huge goals, I should say. And if Lima had half the talent that Jonas had, Benfica would be in front by 8 points by now, if not 10.
Yeah.
You? What's your?
I don't know, man. I think that
I'm surprised.
I think all you guys make great points, and I'm surprised nobody's mentioned Julius Hazard.
I thought the keeper was going to. I was expecting Tim to.
I did come close, but Artur hasn't been doing that bad himself when he's in the game. So you can't give it to Julius Hazard over him, only because Artur hasn't been Rui Patricio. So.
Exactly. Benfica hasn't skipped a beat with JC
exactly.
on the
It doesn't matter
who's
in the net this year. They've both been outstanding.
Yeah, the thing for me is because this team is so evenly matched with perhaps one or two guys or maybe three guys coming out as ahead, a little bit ahead of the others. I think that you could go a lot of ways with the guys that you like for Player of the Year and so on and so forth. But I think that Julius Cesar's done a good job. I think Jonas has been absolutely crucial. Gaitan, we all know the importance that he's brought, and as you guys have mentioned,
Batman's been spectacular.
Even Jardel
played the most minutes.
That's right.
And the guy might be a Matuledo and just kick it out, but he gets the job done. He's had a really good season. I know I rag on him a lot.
Let's not forget Pizzi. He's been great too.
He's not been great. He's been. I think we set the bar and the expectation for Pizzi kind of low because we saw how great of a player Enzo was. So we didn't expect him to come in and drop in. So we set the bar low. So he's gone beyond expectation. But it's like when you go out to the bar, right? You're just going out with your buddies to get drunk. But let's say just so happens you get laid that night. You're just planning on getting drunk, right? That was the bar. That was the bar. But you went home with a girl.
You get laid. Oh, with a girl. With a
girl, I said.
Okay. All right.
Or whoever. Look, we're not here to judge. Whatever your orientation preference is. If you got laid that night, that would go above and beyond what you were expecting.
Just don't go to Indiana and say that.
Yeah. Anybody want to take a look at the Portuguese papers today? Because it is April 1st, and Gomes _.
It only starts at 10 o'clock. Gotta wait till 10. Early.
Oh, 10:30, right. Unless somebody has access to those covers, I think that Gomes.
Where's Peggy, man?
Gomes was _Gomes. I'm sorry, man. I wish I knew you by your first name. Don't forget it's April Fool's. The newspapers will say Maxi signed with Porto to substitute Danilo or something like that. Oh, okay, so he's speculating.
There was a tweet from Benfica stuff that JJ signed for 3 years.
But from Benfica stuff? Already?
Yes.
At the stroke of midnight?
No, it was even before
it was
that.
before. Yeah, it was before.
Man, that's not a very convincing win, man. I mean, live.
No,
Not even close.
Well, if you read the title, it clearly tells you what it is.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if you're scrolling,
And
it doesn't
and
show
Jack,
anything. So it
Jack,
was a
thank
good-
you
good-
for the underscore Gomes is João. Sorry, man. I appreciate it. You support us every Tuesday night, and I appreciate you tweeting at us and giving us little tidbits of information.
Bro,
to help
his
us
name's
out.
right over it.
Is it really?
It just says João Gomes.
Yeah, but
bro.
I'm reading off something else that doesn't say
I'm
João Gomes.
messing with
Sorry.
you, I'm messing.
Anyway, what? Neil, go ahead, Neil.
I have a quick question, maybe for all you guys. If we do come out on top this year and we win the back-to-back campeonato, is it going to be a situation where we're just going to get spoiled and just assume that we're going to win every year and that no one's going to stop us, and maybe that'll get to our heads? Like, what do you guys think? If we win this year, is it fair to expect another win next year?
I'll go Nelson. Nelson had his hand first.
That's there's too many moving parts at this point to even say anything. I think the biggest moving part and the key to our success has been JJ and his. I was actually talking earlier with a couple of our comrades on here before we went live, and interestingly enough, it's JJ that's put this all together. So to see what his contract, he gambled on himself. Really, without signing the contract extension before the season began. He's even offered to take a lower salary, I've read, to bring in better players. I think at this point we shouldn't get spoiled. Let's say that we should not get spoiled, but we need to really evaluate ourselves to see what happens with JJ. If he goes, I think with the squad that we have right now, with the most likely inevitable movement of at least Gaetan, and I've said countless times I don't think Lima's going to be here next year either. The squad really starts to take a new shape with this much young youth in the squad. Without JJ to really form it, if he's there, I don't have a good answer, but I'm gonna say we should not get spoiled. If JJ stays, we may be able to continue this progress, not without its own hiccups, but we might be able to continue the progress we've had. If not, we might be in deep trouble looking for a new coach.
Mario.
I'm very selfish. I love getting spoiled, and as a fan, I want to win all the time.
Barry, I was going to say that, but I say, you know what? I've talked too much, so I'll be quiet. I'm glad you said it. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Exactly. No, in all honesty, Porto has dominated for way too long. As a fan for several years, you just wanted to win the damn title, and we did it. And now it's time to kind of break Porto's reign. I don't want them to win the Taça da Liga. I don't want them to win the Taça de Portugal, the Liga, anything. It's Benfica's time to dominate the Portuguese league, and that's what I'm hoping for. That's what I want. We talk about us losing players. Porto, in the news today, they're losing a key player. They might lose a bunch of other players depending on how their performance looks against Bayern Munich.
That's because they're all loaned.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Jack, do you think that Liverpool got spoiled and that's why they've done so poorly lately?
Liverpool side of things, poorly. I'm not sure. It's quite hard when you keep changing managers all around. It takes a lot of time to get
The
with the
poor
philosophy.
kid wasn't alive when they were winning, bro. Come on. How does he know?
2005. I'll take that. No, but I want to raise a point on Nelson, actually, with JJ. Me and Peter were speaking about this before. Realistically, where would he go now in this stage of his career? That would be a better sense of a move for him than staying at Benfica, personally. Because I don't really think... you can say the big clubs like Real Madrid, Barcelona, which he gets linked to in papers just like completely pointlessly, but realistically, is he the type of manager who would be good at just going out and spending loads of money on proven talent? He's more proven to basically develop his own talent, mold his own players. He's not the type of manager to do the opposite, so it wouldn't make sense for him to leave at all.
Yeah. Kevin, what do you think? We get spoiled, and also, what are your thoughts on JJ's possible leaving at the end of the year?
I would hope that he doesn't leave. I really want him to stay for another 10, 15 years if possible.
Oh, yeah.
Me too. As for next year, I'm thinking about this year only. Next year, to be next year. I don't know. It's tough. You never know what's gonna happen in next year. I think we're a bit lucky that this year that even though we got a completely new squad, he's managed to pull off some major wins, major victories. But to be spoiled next year, I would like that. But I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that Jack makes a great point. I think that Jack makes a great point. Peter, what do you think?
We got spoiled on the 2010-11 season after we won the Campeonato, when JJ was all about we're going to win the Champions League, yada yada yada. Then we brought in the signings. We can't get that confidence. I think that no other team is going to be better than us if we'll find a way to buy players, because Brahim is from one of those funds. Oliver Torres is loaned. Casemiro is loaned. Pedro is loaned. Jackson said he's going to leave at the end of the season. Danilo's gone. Those are big shoes to fill. And with us having a good academy, a good type of good core of players as well, that Jonas will probably won't. You most likely won't. See if he stays. Possibly Jardel. We're going to have a lot of good players, a good team to build from there. And also, I touched this earlier before we were live when I was talking to Nelson and Jack. I don't think, simply because he said he would leave top clubs, like 5 top clubs. And honestly, there isn't anyone that he would possibly go to except possibly Manchester City. But again, to build his own players, like Jack said, and I don't think he's the type of guy to just go ahead and spend like 60 million. For example, Mangala is horrible, but he just isn't that type of person. He likes to go ahead and find those David Luiz, those Taliscas that also, Talisca was big in the beginning of the season. He likes to try and find those players. Also, he failed like Cortez or Emerson, but then again, he gets one of those gems and whoa. So he's one of those types of coaches. He likes to have his own system, as he even likes to call it. Yeah. So he builds his players that way, teaches them how to play, and I think that's why he won't leave. He likes to have a team that knows how to play. He's even said, I like my own system. I don't like to put to a team that already has a system. I'm not that type of coach. I want to be able to do it the things my way. I think with the great relationship with Vieira, that there's probably no chance that you leave.
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely a coach that much rather develop players.
That's out of necessity, guys. I mean, come on, dude. Name me a coach that has money at his disposal, with the exception of Arsene Wenger, that doesn't spend it. You give JJ money, the guy's gonna go out there like he's gonna spend it on everybody. He's gonna buy players you never heard of because he thinks he's gonna develop these guys into the next future. And we see it with these scrubs that Benfica's had at left back for the last 33 years. It seems like he thinks he could develop anybody. You give him a little checkbook, oh man, forget about it. I can't wait. I hope he goes to England.
I just want to hear JJ speak English. That's all.
Dude, I hope he goes to Arsenal. The press conference with JJ will be pay-per-view like. JJ and Mourinho against one another every week. That in London, that will be beautiful.
But why would he leave? Why would he leave Benfica? He's worshipped here.
He's got nothing else to conquer.
He's won everything.
Ask for more money, but who cares? We have like 1,000 players on our book.
Nothing else to conquer.
That's not true. He still needs to conquer Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the odds of him all conquering Europe, they're not very good, guys. And I keep talking about this stuff. We argue about this all the time. The way that things are set up at Benfica right now, man, it's going to take a miracle for Benfica to challenge Europe-wise. They won't do it.
Of course.
But no Portuguese team's going to win Europe.
Benfica's a buying, selling club. That's how we make money. That's how we stay revenue. That's how we make revenue. Why do you think they can offer tickets at €3 and €4 per game when you see guys like Arsenal and
Arsenal has the highest ticket in Europe.
Yeah, I mean they're charging 140, 150 euros for the nosebleed seats. And then the money that they get from television rights. It doesn't happen in Portugal. So to make up that money for players' salaries, for coaches, for balls, to pay for the guy to cut the grass, the guy to draw the chalk lines on the ground, I mean, those all have to come from or the main revenue source, which is going to be either Sócios, either buying That's why another reason we have new kits every year, or just buying and selling players. We're never going to hold on to.
Needs to be bought out by a filthy rich dude that can
happen.
afford. Nobody said it's going to happen. I'm saying what there needs to be done. They need to be bought out by a filthy rich dude that could afford to lose. Guys, let me get this out.
We had this conversation the other day.
They need to be bought out by a dude that could afford to lose $100 million euros in order to reject all the sharks, in order to turn away everybody, and then develop that squad that could go out and compete at the Champions League.
Chris won't allow it to hapen.
I would never allow that.
But we're never going to win anything. Forget about it.
Let Pedro go. He had his hand up.
Sorry.
I'll put my hand up.
Please, you know our past. I know. You know our past?
Yeah, of course I know your past. I mean, what do you? I didn't get into the game yesterday.
The club's
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I know.
We
of
didn't
course.
have any money. We ran from stadium to stadium.
Guys, dude,
Pedro.
Pedro.
Built under sausages. I don't think they were going to lose that Portuguese to just go ahead and be bought.
Pedro, those different times. Pedro, back in the days, you could buy a Bifana for 5 scudos. You can't buy a Bifana for 5 scudos no more, man. It's different times, guys. It's changed. Champions League format, once it changed in 1990, it's a wrap.
This is the conversation that Chris and I and João and Manel and Tom Kundert and Laura had after the game at the Colombo at Portugalia having a talk.
And everyone started off the fight arguing, and by the end of the fight, I was the only one talking.
We were only talking because we just got tired of fighting with you. There was no winning. So we just let you go. So that was it.
There's no way that Benfica will return to being a powerhouse in Europe with the way that the format, the way that things are today. Benfica will never be that team again.
That all
I'm
depends.
sorry, it hurts me.
That depends.
Depends on what?
Chris, Champions League is going to be the same.
FIFA depends on financial
every year.
Yeah.
Fair, but you know, financial fair means you can spend money if you earn money. Benfica don't earn money, so they can't spend money. That's what fair play means. You can only spend money if you earn money, if you make money. Benfica doesn't make money, so they can't spend money.
It's never gonna happen, dude.
I didn't say it's gonna happen. Listen. I'm a diehard, as bad as Benfiquistas there is. So I'm at a game, I'm quiet unlike other guys, but deep down inside, man, it pains me. Okay, I love Benfica, but I also understand the way that soccer is set up today. 1990 changed the world of soccer, and it's never going to go back because it's all about the money. If you go back to the 80s, Porto and Benfica made 2 Champions League finals. Benfica made a Europa final. At this time, the Portuguese league has some of the best teams in Europe. No longer the case.
All right, but who's Bayern owned? Who's Bayern owned by?
But Bayern, they're in Germany. They're only the one economy that's working.
But they don't need
camada triste, mano. Ali com umas ovelhas para trás para frente. They're never gonna make money.
Exactly why nobody's gonna invest in them either.
Steve,
dream somewhere else.
Papa, I said the only way they're gonna do is by doing. I didn't say they're going to invest.
Everybody hit up.
Is now.
Everybody hit up.
I'm gonna win the Toto. I'm gonna win the Toto Peggy next week, and then I'm gonna invest in Benfica.
Lotto Peggy.
Lotto Peggy.
Everybody hit up Chris and tell and argue with him that that will never happen.
It'll never happen.
Before we go, because this is already dragging out, I just wanted to ask you guys perhaps your happiest Benfica memory. That you could remember, and I'll start with Mario.
Oh, that's a good question. Happiest memory. I think when we talked earlier on, or the message, like when I was a small child, thinking of those memories going on with my old man. I came to Canada in '91. Lived in Richmond beforehand, but was going to those Portuguese cafes, being able to watch the game with my old man. That to me, I loved a lot. And nowadays it's I'd say that much. That's my happiest one.
Yeah. Timo?
My happiest was definitely visiting Lisboa in 2009. It was my first time there at the stadium. Got to watch 5 different games, visited 4 different stadiums. I mean, that was probably my favorite memory. Gameplay-wise, I would have to say probably that goal by Rodrigo in the first game right after Eusebio's death was probably one of the key moments that will give me goosebumps every single time. Anytime I watch a video of that goal, just to see like the emotion in all the players, that was just huge.
Neil.
Man, there's so many to choose from, but a recent one was this past December when we beat Porto, because that happened on the same day that my parents celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, and I was watching the game at a restaurant with 30 members of my family, and I was anticipating that they were gonna lose at the Dragão, and they won, and I had tears, and it was awesome.
You flipped over a table.
I flipped over a table. It was great, man.
Kevin.
I got a few. Like you guys all have good examples. Like Mario, my father, like we went to the old Portuguese cafes, watching the games there. The game recently against Porto, but I would have to say when we clinched to go to the final, Europa League final, beating Juventus. That one to me was really special because I haven't really been following like Benfica for a long time. That I actually seen it excel in a major competition. So the first Europa League final, semi-final, they advanced to the final. To me, that was really special. I was in tears that afternoon.
Yeah. Jack.
I'd say gameplay-wise, the 3-1 against Porto last season, where André Gomes scored the winner.
Yeah, that's definitely a good one. Steve.
If you're gonna single it down to one moment, it's got to be the same one that does it for Timo. That Rodrigo goal was just pure emotion. It was insane, spine-tingling stuff. In person, going to the Luge for a derby against Sporting and winning 2-0 in 2010, that was awesome. Just insane. How loud the Luge can be with 50,000 people in it, compared to I've been to Camp Nou with 88 or 89,000, and the Luge is louder by a lot.
Tinha que lá ir buscar o Camp Nou.
Tem razão, deixa eu falar.
Caralho. Pedro.
Happiest 2 moments. Going to watch the first time live at the Wolves was unbelievable. It's no words to describe. And also seeing us win the Super. But I have my best and worst moment with Benfica the same. Being able to reach 2 Europa League finals, playing better, playing amazing football. I guess the second one wasn't as good, but the way we played against Chelsea and we lost, it was also one of my best moments. I felt proud for that team. We accomplished that game. It was unbelievable, and at the same time, one of my worst moments with Benfica. But that's what makes us stronger. Those losses, those unbelievable runs. Amazing.
That's right.
Yeah. Nelson.
I remember being a kid and RTP Internacional wasn't available yet where I lived. So I lived outside of Philadelphia. So anytime we wanted Portuguese food or anything, we'd have to drive into Philly onto Ferry Street to go get, whatever.
To Philly or to Newark?
To Newark, sorry. You have to go into Newark to Ferry Street to go get any kind, small or chorizo or anything like that. And I remember going to a cafe. I was maybe like 9 or 10, and really seeing one of my first Benfica games on TV, and just seeing my dad so excited about a game. And my dad wasn't a really excitable guy, so to see him as excited as to watch Benfica on TV, it got me emotional about it. It got me, real passionate about it. The game where I went last year to go see Sporting, that was the first game I'd ever been to. It just, I think this club has brought so many fantastic people together, and we're fortunate enough to be able to share it all together. One of my happiest memories was being the first time I was ever here on the Benfica podcast.
Hey. That was a good feeling. That's a good one.
Cristiano.
My favorite memory of Benfica takes me back to the summer of 2013 when I won the Champions League in FIFA 13 on PlayStation 3. No, joking aside. No, I have a bunch of memories. I look back in 1987, the final against PSV, which to me is really my first Benfica memory that's been entrenched in my head ever since. Even though we lost in PKs, Veloso missed a PK, and then Ronald Koeman came out. Whatever. So just the fact that I got to see my team in the Champions League, that I could remember that was terrific. Then again against AC Milan, the first Campeonato that I was really excited about was the 1994. We go out to Stadio Alvalade. We beat them 6-3 after Paulo Sousa and Pacheco leaves. That brought back tremendous joy. And then obviously in 2005, man, we went 11 years without winning a title, and to me that brought back all those emotions and stuff like that. It felt like, okay, we're back after that dominance by Football Club, Corrupto, and we were able to finally snatch the title back under Trapattoni, man. That to me. Not taking anything away from any of the memories you guys have said, because I agree with everything you guys have said, but that 2005, the fact that we're back on the map, the fact that I could wear my shirt again and proudly and not have to hear this crap from anybody else, to me that was huge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any Benfica memory, it's all relative to who you are and how you feel, really, and what it meant to you at the time. So I think any memory is really a good memory. For me, obviously going to the old Stadio Luz with my dad, where I didn't pay a ticket, and he just told me to sit on the seat next to him. If the guy showed up, just move on, just move over to the next one. Those were great days. Also, in those days, I didn't have the attention span that I have now, so I perhaps spend half the time looking at the floor, looking for bugs and stuff like that. But I was at the stadium, and I felt the emotions. Obviously, as you guys have heard, the last time we were in Portugal 2-3 weeks ago, watching that game, that was a great memory.
Yep.
I was also fortunate enough to be at the Benfica Boa Vista Portuguese Cup final when Benfica won 5-2. That was also a great memory. But overall, I think that just seeing the pictures at the Marquês and the images at the Marquês, I think those are images that stay etched in your brain for a very long time. And I don't think I'll ever get spoiled of winning back-to-back championships, because as a Benfiquista, you're a winner. You like to win, and in everything. Jack, you want to say something? Somebody was calling you out, saying that you wanted to say something.
With last season, especially, just watching the championship and after the game, the celebrations, that really was something to watch. That has stayed with me ever since.
Yeah. Hopefully you'll get to see it
And
again.
I don't mean to get corny out here, but we visited the museum a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And we got to go on that virtual tour where the elevator brings you up. I don't know if you guys have been there or not. And as I'm sitting, I'm trying to take the video. I put it on my YouTube channel, by the way. And I try to take the video of it, and I glance over to my right, and I see this guy with tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, out of the whole tour of the museum, that's the one thing that I constantly think about. Is I glance over to my right, and he's got tears in his eyes. All instantly, I got tears in my eyes. And to me, that's, out of the whole weekend, that's that one moment I took with me.
Yeah,
and I think I'll always remember in the back of my mind. Even though we had a great time, but that moment right there,
it's a holy place, guys.
Yeah, I saw how much it meant to you and stuff like that.
It was for me. It was very emotional, because that whole. If you haven't been to the museum, of course, we advise that you shouldn't be wasting any time. But when you go to the museum and you take that virtual tour, it's actually something where you get on an elevator, and the elevator slowly brings you up from the start of the club. And it has everything to do with the emotions surrounding the club, the adepts, the sócios, the supporters, and it takes you from the history. And it for me, there was a point. I was so emotional with the whole point, with the whole thing, and just seeing people emotional about Benfica's conquests and everything. And then there's this whole time, this clip where Nuno Matos is calling out the championship from last year, and that, I think that just did it for me. Pedro.
I just wanted to say something else. I don't know if he does the same with you. Even when my dad tells me stories of moments, I feel them myself as well. The way that he tells me how he it's just unbelievable how a club, it can make you so happy with just little moments little pieces of your life, even when you're telling other people, they feel the same. That's at least how I feel when my dad also tells me things.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think that's about it, man. We've gone long enough. I'll give everybody about I don't know, a quick minute or so just to say one final parting word. And just wanted to say that I appreciate all of you guys being here and being a part of this. It was something real special. And Nelson, I'll start with you, man.
I don't know. I'm on here once a week for a couple minutes, and it's been just an absolute pleasure and the positive response, and I'm just happy to contribute. And I want to say thank you everybody that's given me the opportunity, and for everybody. Everybody will get their own opportunity, but for everybody who's not on the podcast tonight that either wanted to be here or can't be here, or just is too chicken shit to come on, I just want to say thank you, Alfredo, for providing this wonderful platform to everybody, that we get to talk about something that we love. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. So here's a big virtual hug from me to you, buddy.
Thanks, man. Mary, I'll go with you next, bro.
Thanks. Well, obviously, a big thank you to you guys for putting on this podcast. I have to say, maybe a big thank you to Al Gore for inventing the internet to allow us to do these types of things.
Thank you.
You know what? I'd say just a shout out to Planet Benfica, because that's kind of where I got online early on.
Joey Manel.
Yeah, I love those guys out there. Yeah, it's a great community, man. These stories talking about the greatest moments of the club. It's quite emotional. I love listening to the podcast as much as I can. It's fantastic. So just thank you so much, and always love talking to you guys out on Twitter also.
Yeah. And Kevin?
Just want to say thanks for having me on the podcast for tonight. I've been listening to the podcast for about a year and a half or so, and for me it's weekly. I can't miss one, and I'm really thankful to be on this week. It's a great platform, and you guys are pretty awesome to listen to, and each have your own opinion. Even with Chris talking so much, it's still entertaining.
Jab.
Kevin, thanks, man. I appreciate it.
No thanks for that, Kevin.
Neil.
I could go on and on, but the reality is, like, this is the best thing for us, like, being fans of this team, and it touches you on so many ways. Like, in Canada, like, Benfica TV is now available. Like, that's amazing. I could go to my friends who support Man U or Real Madrid or whatever and be like, haha, like, this is available, not your crappy channel. Alfredo, we thank you for everything, all your hard work. I'm sure you could be spending time with your wife and kids instead of editing this and spending all this time with this. So we all look up to you. We all love you. I had the chance of meeting you briefly for a beer. I look forward to hanging out with Mario and Kevin this weekend. We're going to catch the game. We build relationships based on this, and it's something that we look forward to. I've gone to a game with Steve already. Like, it's just amazing how we were all like total strangers, and
that's why
all
Steve
brought us
doesn't go
together.
back to games. That's why he said he won't go back to Toronto FC.
No.
How I got it.
Pedro.
It was a Benfica game you saw.
Pedro.
It was amazing to be here, listening to you guys week in, week out. It's amazing to finally be able to speak here. Even when I'm listening to the podcast after you guys do the podcast, well, I wish I could have asked that. I wish I could have said that. But on Twitter, I have to thank all of you because you guys are always active, talking to us. It's amazing. I'm just happy to be here, happy to be able to express my opinion, happy to talk to all of you guys. It's an amazing experience. I gotta say, I was nervous, but even Nelson said, "Don't be scared." This is absolutely amazing to hear and have a few moments to speak about the biggest thing on earth, which is Benfica.
Yeah, that's right.
Well said.
Jack.
For me personally, I'd like to just thank everyone involved with the podcast, as well as the guys at Planet Benfica. especially being all English speaking and that, it helps me a lot, and it's a big part of why I still follow the club to this day, and I'm proud to do so. As for being on the podcast today, it was quite a random opportunity, but I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a great experience as well to speak to a lot of guys, and I know a lot of guys will be watching this all over the world as well. So
great,
thanks
man.
to them.
Awesome, Timo.
I just want to, thank you guys as well, just for always putting on this wonderful podcast. I don't know how long I've been watching it, not as long as Kevin, but first time I did, I've been hooked on it. Whether I watch it live or if I, listen to it on my way to work, every week. It's one of those things I look forward to. Obviously, also got to thank the creators of Twitter, because without Twitter, I don't think we'd get to, shoot the shit with all of you week in, week out, day in, day out. Sometimes 6 a.m, I get some tweets from somebody who's on the pod right now. So, it's just been, really good over the past, I would say, probably a year solid, where, you can see all the Twitter followers on Benfica Podcast grow, and how many people actually have the same feeling and view that we do. And, just thank you guys again just for, asking me to come on. It's been great.
Yeah. Steve. No, Steve, I don't know if you want any parting words, Steve.
No,
obviously.
It's awesome to have all
if I
these
knew
guys
this was
on.
going to turn into a love fest, I would have avoided the question. But it's appreciated, guys. Really,
Exactly.
man.
That's what I want to come
Yes.
out and say. Just
Steve, go ahead.
I'm humbled by the fact that people like to listen to me every week, and honestly, I just get blown away that there's so many people that listen to me. But we all have to really hand it to O Capitão, man. This is your baby, and you've nourished it for about 2-3 years now, and look what it's become. And then you have a whole bunch of us just every week talking about the greatest club on earth.
Yeah.
Let's not make you cry, okay?
Yeah. Next season, we shall get jerseys with Alfredo's name on the back.
Fumaças.
Capitão.
That's a good idea.
That's Capitão. I like that one.
Capitão on the back. I just wanted to say thank you for all you guys, the tremendous support that you guys put out week in, week out, whether it's on Twitter, whatever the avenue that it may be. And I just wanted to say it was a pleasure to finally talk to you guys. I know we talk to each other mostly through Twitter, so it's finally I'm finally glad to put a face to a Twitter handle. And you guys should shorten your names. I mean, so like that we can add more of you guys into one tweet. So just thanks for the tremendous support, man. I came on as a guest for a national team back in May, I believe, or something like that, and I haven't left ever since. So, well, I did leave. I left for a little while, then came back. And this feels like a family, man. You guys are a tremendous part of this, even though Steve, myself, and Alfredo are on here most of the weeks. It's because of you guys. The fact that you guys constantly keep us on our toes on Twitter. You guys support us. And it's tremendous to do this for a club that obviously we all have so much love for, and a club that I was raised with. So, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah, and thanks for me too. You guys are the reason why we do this, and
Yes, guys, just também, não esqueça.
Yeah. But the thing is that for me, it all really started as a hobby. I never expected this to take off the way it did. And to be quite honest with you, I never got into it for money or for fame or even for exposure or even for recognition from the club. But the fact that people actually tune in and enjoy what we talk about and value our opinions and are feel strong enough about our opinions that take to Twitter and discuss it with us and discuss it with other fans, I think that's a great thing, to seeing people coming together because of the podcast and most of all because of the club.
Man love.
So I'm many thanks to everybody, and thank you for everyone that checked us out, even if it's 5 minutes or whatever. The folks over at planetbenfica.co.uk, always good, wonderful supporters. All the people that we've had on the podcast, throughout the years. This is going to go on for a while. This is go on for as long as everybody enjoys it and everybody supports it.
Yeah, we got to
It's
meet
gonna
up
go on.
in May. What is it, May of March 17, something like that?
I'm going to throw it out right now. February or March of 2017, we're planning a big trip to Stade de Luge with peeps from all around the world. So I mean, it's far enough.
So you guys got time to save up. You got time to get this podcast over 1,000 followers. That's your homework. That's your homework.
2017. We're going for a weekend. We're going for a game.
Let's do it.
So let's. You got plenty of time to plan. Start putting a penny away every day. You'll be okay by the time you get there.
A little bit more than a penny.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, what it costs to feed a hungry child in Africa, maybe a day.
$58 a day. Nah, guys, seriously, all joking aside, I think it'd be tremendous, man, if we all showed up at Estadio de Luz with our Capitan shirts and just walk in there and hopefully not get beat up by the Porto supporters.
And Timo's got the connections, so we could always get the tickets. But, I mean, there's no problem getting 10, 15 tickets. I don't think it's a deal. That's a big deal.
Presidential suite.
Guys, one last time, thank you very much for coming on, for being a part of this. All you guys that were nervous, I hope that you're not nervous anymore. And then in the future, if there's an invitation, that you guys are willing to come on and just talk Benfica with us, because there's nothing to be nervous about. Just a bunch of guys talking it over. And we're gonna try to get some ladies on next time, being that we didn't do it this last time. So thank you very much for everybody for checking us out. planetbenfica.co.uk. Don't forget to check out fubo.tv/Benfica podcast if you want to have Sport TV Americas and Benfica live on your computer, device,
tablet, phone,
whatever.
With Chromecast now.
Yeah, with Chromecast. That's a wonderful thing. I just put it on my phone, dude. It's so awesome. I put it on my phone and I just cast it to my TV. It's a great thing.
Yes,
what is it?
It's beautiful. I'll explain it to you after we get off.
I have a smart TV.
Yeah,
easier.
But I have Chromecast. All right, guys. Thank you very much,
everybody.
Next week,
phenomenal job, guys.
We'll be back. We will break down the Nacional game, and we'll also look ahead to Académica, and we'll be back to our old format, and we really enjoyed having everyone in.
Chalkboard Steve will be back in action.
It was a shame that we couldn't have everyone in, more people in, but unfortunately Hangouts only lets us have so many. So
what if each person gets 10 people? Is that possible?
No, because only the host can do it.
10 total.
Okay.
All right, guys. See you again next week.
Arrivederci.
Bye.
Peace.
Ciao.
Ciao.